Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Hasif bin Anuar and my student ID is 2019 627126 and I'm from class BA 24458.
Assalamualaikum, I am Raja Muhammad Adib bin Raja Abdul Halim with mention number 2019291438.
Hi, my name is Fahmi bin Dasuan. My ID number is 2019476132.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Syamil bin Rahim. ID number 2019267832. I am from group 2445A.
For our research methodology, we are going to present about gender differences in open distance learning, challenges in student adaptability to technology, and instructor capabilities in online teaching during pandemic COVID-19 among UiTM students. Next is problem statement. Physical learning of physical classroom could not be adapted after the breakout of the COVID-19 epidemic in Malaysia, forcing the University Technology Mara UiTM students to adapt to online distance learning (ODL). However, ODL has created significant barrier to the UiTM students depending on their gender. The identified challenges that UiTM students confront in their learning process throughout the ODL is the frequency and experience in using internet. The reason why students use internet they have some relation to the learning physics, and the student internet self-efficacy is the element that can influence the adaptability to technology. Also, the instructor ability to teach the current landscape of online setting also become a challenge for UiTM student during ODL. The presentation style of the instructor and the instructor technical skills in handling online classes are the two important elements that can influence the instructor ability to teach during ODL. Next is the research objective. The first research objective is to identify the relationship of student adaptability to technology as a challenge towards online class, and the second one is to determine the relationship of instructor capabilities in online teaching as a challenge towards online class, and the third one is to investigate the difference between gender in terms of challenge during online class. The next one is research question. The first research question is what is the relationship of students' adaptability to technology as a challenge towards online class, and the second one is what is the relationship of teacher capabilities in online teaching as a challenge towards online class, and the third one is what is the difference between gender in terms of challenge during online class. For the first variable, which is student adaptability to technology, we use several articles such as examining student satisfaction and gender differences in technology-supported blended learning. The second one is student perception towards modern technology as teaching aids. The third one is student internet access, internet self-efficacy, and internet for learning physics, gender and grade differences. The fourth one is student use and perception of technology-enhanced learning in a mass lecture knowledge-rich domain first undergraduate module. And the last one is student acceptance and readiness for e-learning in northeastern Thailand. For the second variable, which is lecturers' capability in online teaching, we also use several articles such as student perception on online and distance learning and their motivation and learning strategies in using educational technology during COVID-19 pandemic. The second one is a study on perception of teacher and student towards online classes in Dakshina Kannada and Udupi district. And the third one is student perception on quality dimensions and challenges faced in open distance learning in the higher education Ethiopia. And for the last one is students and teachers' perspective on the implementation of online medical education in China, a qualitative study.
So now, let's proceed with the 2.1 theoretical framework. As you can see on my left right now, so here is our theoretical framework for this study. And from this theoretical framework, we can come up with two hypotheses, which is the first one, there are significant relationship between students' adaptability to the technology and open distance learning. Second hypothesis, there are significant relationship between teacher-instructor capabilities in online teaching and open distance learning. Now we'll proceed with the next slide, which is the chapter 3, research methodology, population and sample. Population refers to the entire group of people, events or things of interest that the researcher wish to investigate. In this study, we investigate about challenge during a pandemic COVID-19 among UiTM students in open distance learning based on their gender. So based on this scope of study, we specify population is all students from UiTM from all branches throughout Malaysia they are still studying. Sample is a subset of population. The sampling technique that we use in this study is non-probability sampling, which is convenience sampling. Convenience sampling is a sort of non-probability sampling in which a sample is taken from a population segment. The number of UiTM students that we need in this study to be our respondent is 200. But for this study, Alhamdulillah, we reached 225 respondents. Next is the sample size. Okay, survey were performed on the sample of undergraduate students from all UiTM in Malaysia. Since the population of UiTM students throughout Malaysia is too large, okay, so we just take a sample of 225 students from both gender to be our respondent for this study. Next slide, we proceed with the research and technique. The research design and technique are known as descriptive research. It is a type of research in which describe characteristics of a population phenomenon. It determine the answer to whom, what, when, and also how question. In this case, the sample of 225 students will act as a respondent that will answer the question whether online distance learning is affected by student adaptabilities in using technology and teachers or instructor capabilities in online teaching. Non-probability sampling, which is a convenience sampling, it is a type of sampling in which an element selected is based on non-probabilistic consideration. Next is data collection. The nature of data collection come out in two forms of information sources, which are primary data and also secondary data. The primary data it come from the original sources and are collected specially to answer our research question. By providing questionnaire via Google Form, and link is shared to the sample of 235 students from population frame of UiTM in order to collect original data on the effect of student adaptability in using technology and teacher or instructor capabilities in online teaching towards the experience of online distance learning. Study made by others for their own purposes, which represents secondary data. Next slide is the research instrument. Among the research instruments used in this study are questionnaire through Google Form. Questionnaire are developed and consist of 4 major parts, which is part 1 is demographic, part 2 is ODL, part 3 is student adaptability to technology, and part 4 is student perception towards lecturer or instructor capabilities in online teaching. The final part we use a the first part we use a nominal scales, which is a contain question about respondent demographic. Nominal scale is a method of categorizing sample based on the common characteristic. In part 2, 3 and also 4, we use attitude rating scale, which is a 5-point Likert scale statement, consists of strongly disagree, natural, agree, and also strongly agree. All part in questionnaire contain of 5 questions respectively. Then we distribute the form to the respondent throughout social media such as WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram, and others, so that we can easily get the data from the respondent.
Assalamualaikum. So now I will continue with chapter 4, finding and analysis. So first we go to the reliability test. From this table, the crunch bar alpha for the variable is 0.718, which indicates that it has a significant level of internal consistency. So the item that we use to measure the variable are trustworthy. Next is normality test. The courtesy score for SAT challenge is 0.29 and its squeakiness is negative 0.99, while courtesy value for ICT challenge is 0.11 and its squeakiness is negative 0.64. Courtesy and squeakiness value for both variable within the range of plus minus 3, so the sample is considered normal. Next we go to the frequency table. Based on this figure, there is more male respondent, which at 50.7%. For age, the majority of our respondent is in the age of 25 years and below, which at 70.2%. For current location, majority of our respondents are currently at their hometown, which at 56.4%. For education level, the majority of our respondents came from degree level, which at 59.1%. And lastly is current semester. The majority of our respondents are currently in the semester 5, which at 25.3%. Now let's go to the analyze descriptive result. First, let's analyze our DV. For question 1, majority of 38% respondents agree that ODL can increase the flexibility of teaching and learning process. For question 2, majority of 29% respondents are neutral regarding the question whether ODL creates better learning experience compared to conventional classroom. For question 3, Majority of 34% respondents agree that ODL is stressful. For question 4, majority of 28% respondents agree that ODL is good as face-to-face learning. Question 5, majority of 35% respondents agree that ODL takes a lot of time from their full-time responsibility. Now let's look at our first IV for question 1. Majority of 49% of respondents strongly agree that they know how to use web browser. For question 2, majority of 51% respondents strongly agree that they can use web browser like Mozilla Firefox to search information. For question 3, majority of 48% respondents strongly agree that they can print out information from web. For question 4, majority of 44% respondents strongly agree that they can download files from the net. And lastly, for question 5, majority of 51% respondents strongly agree that they can copy text from web to Microsoft Word. Now let's analyze our last IV for question 1. Majority of 43% respondents agree that their lecturers are well prepared to use the study module and additional material. For question 2, majority of 35% respondents strongly agree that their lecturer make the link between study units clear and logical. For question 3, majority of 36% respondents strongly agree that their lecturer communicates in clearly audible and understandable manner. For question 4, majority of 40% respondents agree that their lecturer give appropriate guidance on the completion of assignment. And for question 5, majority of 39% respondents agrees that their lecturer prescribe a fair volume of study material. Next, we go to the correlation. The SAT challenge has no significant correlation with challenge ODL due to its coefficient correlation 0.090 and its two-tailed significant test, which is higher than significant level of 0.01. Therefore, H1 is not accepted. However, ICT challenge has significant correlation with challenge ODL due to its coefficient correlation 0.450 and its two-tailed significant test is lower than the significant level of 0.01. Therefore, H2 is accepted. Next, we go to the R-square. Based on the table, R-square value is 0.208, which means 20.8% of the variation in our dependent variable is explained by the variability of the independent variables. The remaining of 79.2% cannot be explained by this independent variable and may need to be explained by using another factors.
I'm going to continue the presentation by presenting 4.7 regression analysis. So for the hypothesis H1, the beta coefficient is negative 0.074, the standard deviation is 0.063, the t-value is negative 1.174, and the decision is not supported because the p-value is 0.241, which is more than 0.05. For H2, the beta coefficient is 0.478, the standard deviation is 0.064, the t-value is 7.478, and decision is supported because the value of p-value is 0.01, which is lower than 0.05. Next, Anuar table. So this is the result of mean differences between genders in terms of problem phase. So from the table, we can clearly see that the p-value of SAT stands for Students' Adaptability to Technology is at 0.015, which is closer and lower than the significant value of 0.05. Thus, an overtable analysis is conducted on the first variable H1, even though it is not significant to ODL challenges. This is the graph called the differences between gender in the way they responded to the challenges of students' adaptability to technology. From this graph, we can clearly see that 52% of females strongly agree that student adaptability to technology is a challenge of ODL during COVID-19, which is higher than male, which is at 44%. Adaptability to technology is more challenging for females than for males. Next, Chapter 5 discussion. Discussion are made based on finding from Chapter 4. On the research objective 1, majority of UI2N students does not feel that there is a significance between student adaptability to technology on ODL challenges. On research objective 2, majority of UI2N students does feel that there is a significance between instructor and teacher capabilities in online teaching on ODL challenges. And in research objective 3, based on the finding, it showed that female students are suffering more problem during ODL than male students. 5.1 recommendation. We recommend to UiTM that they should organize and encourage teachers and instructors to join technology usage improvement webinars, especially for young instructors and teachers who already have the capabilities in using technology. Up next, we suggest to UiTM they should provide training for teachers and instructors who are over the age of 45, because usually teachers and instructors from this age group and generation does not have the basic knowledge in using technology. Besides, we suggest to UiTM that they should encourage teachers and instructors to be more lenient and understanding towards students, because not all students have the capability in using technology, and internet access due to financial reasons. Lastly, we suggest to ATM that they should introduce different assignment submission time for male and female, because female students usually have more household activities to do than male students. 5.2 conclusion, we have successfully achieved our objective and identified the variables that are significant to audit a challenge, which is teachers and instructors' capability in online teaching. Students show a different level of response for each problem that have been asked to them in the questionnaire. The result of differences between genders in terms of problems faced by students in ODL shows that female students endure it more in comparison to male students. For 5.3 references, this is the list of references that we have used and referred to throughout the process of completing this research proposal.